Welcome to VintageSF Update. I'm Richard Rempel, and I want to talk about March 2026. I'll also highlight a couple things coming up in April. I want to start off with some of the video collaborations I've done with some of my colleagues here on YouTube. Then we'll talk about some of the buddy reads that I've had, and we'll also look at books that I've acquired in the month of March. So let's start off with video collaborations. I had an interesting conversation with Johnny Talks Science Fiction. He asked the question, which one is it, SF or sci-fi? We talked about science fiction history, and we talked about how this debate came to science fiction in the 1950s. You'll notice in the name for my channel that it's Vintage SF, and the reason that came to be is I was watching Stephen E. Andrews, the Outlaw Bookseller, before I even started my channel, and he argued that SF is the proper term. Words and names do change over time. Sometimes words that could be derogatory become embraced and describe something as well. So if you're interested, you can go and see my conversation with Johnny. Next, I had a very long conversation with someone who does exclusively library tours. Maybe I shouldn't say exclusively. He has conversations with other academic people as well, but he asked if he could do a library tour with me. I had to do a lot of filming of my bookshelves and pictures, and we talked for 4 hours. So I'm very curious to see how this is all going to come together. And I think that some of you know that in April, I'm celebrating my 3rd anniversary of this channel. So I'm hoping that it's going to come out sometime in the next couple of weeks. It'll be a collaboration, and I'll make sure that I give you some information or a post showing you where you can find this extensive library tour. This will only be the 2nd library tour that I've ever given. The first one was on year 2 of Vintage SF, and it was from my old house. So now you'll get to see my library here in my apartment. Also coming in April, there's another YouTuber who's going to be celebrating their 3rd anniversary, and we hope to do a video collaboration together. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm sure that people who watch my channel will have a good idea or will have at least seen some of this YouTuber's videos. I also do some buddy reads, and I recently just finished a buddy read of a book that wasn't science fiction, but Neil Stephenson has written some science fiction, Cryptonomicon. This book has multiple storylines, a couple of them in World War II and one in the 1990s. The World War II ones primarily deal with cryptography, and Alan Turing makes a guest appearance here, I guess you could say, or a cameo, although it's a fairly large role. Most of the cryptography that we talk about, though, will be on the Pacific arena. And in the 1990s, we talk about early ideas for cryptocurrency and how you could back that currency. This book was written in 1999 and really was ahead of its time when it comes to cryptocurrency ideas. So, not science fiction, definitely about cryptography, cryptanalysis. Very interesting. I'm not going to give it a review, but just wanted to let you know that I did a buddy read with that one. And I have an upcoming buddy read in April with Bart of Bart's Bookspace, Sam of Sam Not So Wise, and Whitney of Secret Sauce of Storycraft. We also have one of our viewers, Dale, who will be reading along with us. And we're going to be taking a look at Walter Tevis's Mockingbird. This one's going to be a reread for me, but I'm very excited. I'm very much looking forward to hearing what they think of the book as we go along. I'm thinking we'll probably do a live stream debrief of Mockingbird once we're finished. You'll be able to find that on all of our channels. And coming up this next week, I've just started and I'm actually very much enjoying Dawn by Octavia Butler. This is an author that I've read only one book by so far, Kindred, but I was really impressed, and I've been told this is one of her best books. It does have a very intriguing opening. So I'll be talking about this probably next week on the channel. So let's talk now about some of the acquisitions from this month. One of the ones that I want to talk about, actually I'm going to grab a book from here too. In my library, I've talked about I'm starting to manage some of my library. So I had a copy of The Mote in God's Eye. I've read this way back, probably in the 1980s. I do want to reread it. This is by Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle. But I found The Mote in God's Eye from 1974. This is the book club edition from that year, and it was in amazing shape. So that is going to replace this one. This one now will either be donated or used for used bookstores in trade. So that's an upgrade. An author that I've been collecting and reading and very much enjoying is a Canadian author, Robert Charles Wilson. This one, I believe, is from 2016, last year. He was the Hugo Award-winning author of Spin, which I've reviewed on this channel. An awesome book. I really enjoyed it myself. So I'm looking forward to cracking this one open. Just going to read a little bit from the inner flap here. 2 events made the 1st of September a memorable day for Jesse Cullum. First, he lost a pair of Oakley sunglasses. Second, he saved the life of President Ulysses S. Grant. It's the near future, and the technology exists to open doorways into the past. But not our past, not exactly. Each past is effectively an alternate world, identical to ours but only up to the date on which we access it. And a given past can only be reached once. After a passageway is open, it's the only road to that particular past. Once closed, it can't be reopened. I won't go any further. Looks like there's a very interesting time travel alternate history book here. One of my friends was insistent or highly recommended this book to me, and so I do plan to read it, and I've picked up a copy. The Map of Time by Felix J. Palma. If some of you have read this book, you can let me know about it and let me know your thoughts as well. But this came very, very highly recommended from one of my friends. Then I picked up 3 vintage paperbacks. These were collections of Nebula Award stories. And so this is the first one. Damon Knight was the editor. And then there is Nebula Award Stories number 2. This one here was edited by Brian W. Aldiss and Harry Harrison. And then we skip to number 5, and this one was edited by James Blish. So I'm very much looking forward to reading some of the stories in here. I think I have read some of the stories in here, but it's always great to catch up with different stories from different years. So that's it for this update. There's lots to look forward to on the channel. My 3rd anniversary, the Octavia E. Butler book Dawn, a review coming up next week, and much, much more. Until next time, keep reading.